And we're recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. Today, this week's topic is going to be just a really chill one. We're going to talk about music, TV shows, and movie recommendations that we have for y'all. And let us know what you have too. Last week, I feel like that was a good podcast, as everyone could see. And don't be afraid to join us. This week, we have a new guest. Do you want to introduce
special guest?
a special guest?
He's our celebrity guest appearance.
My name is Nikki.
Oh. All right. We'll probably have someone else joining us in a bit, but other than that, I think do you want to say anything, Alfredo?
No, just hi everyone. Happy Monday. And yeah, we're just kind of excited here to share our thoughts and everything else too. I think a lot of us have been binge watching a lot of TV and listening to a lot of music during this quarantine. So I think this is like a good subject.
And we're still in quarantine for a while now, so I mean, why not get on these shows? Sorry. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and get started on TV shows. I think if you have a list already in your mind, does anyone want to go ahead, Nikki?
Yes, I definitely do. So like this past 2 weeks, I've been obsessed with Avatar, The Last Airbender. So I was like, I've never watched it, not even as a child, which I totally regret.
What?
But they stream it on Amazon Prime, and you could get a 7-day free trial to watch Avatar. I
did something the right way.
Yes, Amazon Prime. I've been obsessed with it lately, and I literally watched all 3 seasons, and I don't even know how long, but yeah. And I'm convinced I'm the Avatar.
How many seasons are there for free on Amazon Prime?
Well, there's only 3 seasons of Avatar, and all 3 are on there. It's Water, Earth, and Fire.
I love Avatar.
Yeah.
I love Avatar so much. I'm obsessed. That is something I grew up with, and it's so funny.
Really?
I'm trying to collect all the Funko Pops, the Avatar Funko Pops. And
Oh my God, yes.
It's been really hard because some of them are really rare.
Do you have Appa?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's so amazing. Yeah, I've never watched it as a child, but I think now that I'm watching it as an adult and as a college student, it's pretty progressive and badass. It tackles sexism, it tackles imperialism, and it's honestly a really show that breaks down a lot of barriers. So it's good to watch and fun to watch, but also I don't know, it has a good message, and I think it's a good thing for kids to watch.
And it's funny because I think Netflix is trying to get it so people can stream it, and so we've been joking around in the household that as soon as it airs, we're just gonna binge watch it. But I didn't know it was on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, 7-day free trial if you don't have it.
Hold on, let me look this up. Fact checker over here.
No, yeah, but I thought it was pretty. I just love the story, and I love the aspect of the elements, but also just the other stuff. I was like, oh my God, this is totally badass.
It used to show on Nickelodeon, I think, when it first aired.
Yeah, it's on Nickelodeon. Yeah, that's where it was from. So that's my recommendation.
Oh my God, I'm totally gonna start watching it as soon as the day's over.
Your to-do list?
Yeah, well, it's been on my list. I just didn't know it was available now.
Yeah. And we all know Brianna would be a waterbender.
Stop.
Because she's a Cancer.
Next week, our signs.
Zodiac.
Oh, that's so funny.
Do you have any other shows you want to recommend? I can't say the word. Recommend. Right now.
Other shows? Well, that's what I've been binge watching. So I don't know. I feel like I'm the type of person is I get obsessed over a show and I'll watch it all the way through, and then I go into that they call the TV show hole or whatever after it, and that's what I'm kind of in right now. I'm okay, what would I do now? I guess I'll do my homework.
You're I guess now that I have the time.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Thank you for sharing that, Nikki.
Yeah.
I think one show that I've been trying to catch up on is Cloak and Dagger. It's a Marvel show series on Hulu.
Oh.
Really great for anyone who's into that. It's superhero stuff, but they're in New Orleans. I started watching it, I think, my first year in college, and then it's still going a season. I think they just got done with season 2, but it's a really great show. I don't know, the background context is they both it just starts with they both end up experiencing the same sort of natural disaster, and they get these powers from it. And it's really cool and interesting, I think, because they're just in high school and they're barely figuring out how to use their powers and stuff like that. I'm into those movies, Marvel, DC, all that stuff. So I'm a big nerd about it. It's really great if you just really like those type of, I guess, shows or movies and stuff like that. It's new too, so yeah, I can't tell you like the ending or how it ends or anything.
Yeah.
I think
Even like on what Nikki was saying with Amazon Prime, while you're watching Amazon Prime, you know what you need to watch, Nikki? Hunters.
Hunters?
It's Hunters on Amazon Prime. I think I was telling somebody else about it the other day, but it's basically about Nazis living in America. And so it's actually really good. And then there's like a huge plot twist at the end, but it really caught my attention and it just kept me continuously on until like it was done.
Hunters.
Yeah, so it's on Amazon Prime. So I totally watched that. And then on Amazon Prime, The Boys. It's called The Boys. Have you seen that?
No, I think I've heard of it though.
You're missing out. So The Boys is basically about people with superpowers, but it's basically the concept of careful when you meet your hero because they might not be who you think they are. And so it's like really great. So if you're into superheroes and things like that, you're definitely like that. But
I love like superpowers and all that.
Yep, Hunters and The Boys are two that are on Amazon Prime for free that are so freaking good.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to check it out.
And then for me, I think right now it's something that I'm binge watching for the third time. Have any of you heard of Schitt's Creek on Netflix?
Yes.
Schitt's Creek. It's Schitt's Creek. It is so funny, and the characters are so relatable. And like when Nikki says, it talks a lot about classism, ageism, sexism. Has LGBTQIA plus characters. Like it is so good and it's so funny. But it's basically a story of how this family lost. They were rich, right? And they lost all their money. And so they have to move to a town that they bought as a joke. So they bought it as a joke for their son. And that's the only thing they can keep. And so they have to move to this town. And it's just like funny, these like rich people. It's so good. The last season just aired. And the season like is officially over now. But it's so good. There's 5-6 seasons. 30 minutes. Schitt's Creek.
Oh, it's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. Give it 3 episodes. You're gonna be hooked, and then before you know it, you're not gonna be able to like stop watching it.
Ooh.
But it's just funny and it's like really great comedy, and you see the characters grow, and I think it really talks about a lot of things we experience. And I think many of you will find yourselves in a couple of the characters. They're just so funny. Like you guys would love it.
I know my friend Brittany is obsessed with that show. She like always tries to gets us to watch her shows, and like I don't know, maybe I'll check that one out too. There's just
that one's really good. I'm like totally obsessed with.
Hey Lalo, can you hear us?
You can kind of hear us.
We can't hear you, Lalo. I can't, at least. Can you?
I can see him. I was kind of starting to hear him a little bit.
What's up, guys?
There we go.
We can hear you.
If you want to join in, this week's topic is TV shows that you recommend, movies, and songs, artists, and musicians. All right.
Yeah. What other shows are you guys kind of currently binge watching that you would recommend? You know what I keep hearing? Pose, the show Pose. But I just haven't been able to. I watched like the first 2 episodes, but I just haven't been able to keep watching it. So it's something that I'm like, I gotta get on that.
Is that with the drag queen?
Is that on Netflix?
Netflix Pose, but it really tackles like the HIV/AIDS epidemic. It really talks a lot about transgendered issues, LGBTQIA plus issues. So it really talks a whole lot about a community that I don't think as our generation. It really talks about community back in the 80s, early 80s, early 90s, right when the HIV and AIDS epidemic that we didn't have to live through. So it's like really interesting. But again, I've only been 3 episodes in, but everyone keeps telling me to just finish it. So it's on my to-do list.
Awesome. I love like LGBT like genres and movie and TV shows, and like there isn't like a lot of content on that, or like good content at least. I know like one like LGBT show that I really like. It's called Looking. I think it's on like HBO, and it's kind of a bit rated R. but it's a cool show, and I think it's like, even though it might be a little rated R, it tackles some real problems too that like the gay community faces, and like in a good, like, tasteful entertainment type of way.
Yeah, and you know what other show I just finished too that just really had me thinking a lot, and the whole time, since I just, like, the 3 seasons are on Hulu, so I just binge watched all 3 seasons, and now I'm waiting for the fourth. But Handmaid's Tales. Have y'all seen that?
Ooh,
No,
no,
but
I haven't saw that, but I read the book.
Oh my God, that show, well, can't curse. That show, like, screwed with me. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, and I'm like, oh my God, this could be an America that people could truly live in. But it's basically a world where not many children are being born, and so the biggest trade that becomes, it's not oil, it's not water, it's not gold, it becomes children, like
Yeah,
fertilized women. Like, it is crazy. And so all these women, so pretty much, and correct me if I'm wrong in some of these things, Nikki, but like basically the US turns into two different countries now, or two different
yeah,
places. One is still the US, and the other is like still the US but has different rules, and they basically enslave all women that are able to have kids. And so
yeah,
it talks this whole thing about how they're in, oh, it's just, you guys need to watch it. I
yeah.
can't say it. It's
No,
so good.
I haven't seen the TV show, but I would, because I loved the book. Like, I read that in high school, and there was like, it's basically like they split. Women only had like three different like places in society. One was to carry a child, one was to be a wife, and one was to be like a maid or something. So, and like what I really like that is like it tackles like issues that women face, and like in the like a class I took last quarter, like we talked about like women are often only given like three choices. It's like, I guess I'm gonna cuss because it's for it, but it's like
Yeah, yeah,
whore, maid, or mother. And that's like often like choices that women have faced throughout history, and it like really tackles that, and it puts it into perspective. It's like, oh, like maybe this isn't too far-fetched, maybe it's like things we're seeing now like really relate to that, and it's scary, it is eye-opening, and it's like,
and,
okay, let's check
and
this.
it's and the biggest one I think was the political, right? That people didn't start catching on that this was happening till it was too
Yeah,
late. And
yeah,
then people are like, wait, what happened? What's the rule now? And it's just like, and then it's funny because at one point during season 2 they bring in Mexico, and then they bring in Canada, and so they
oh,
bring
did they?
in, and it's such an interesting dynamic because they start just talking like these women are just, property, or,
Yeah,
kind of like, in a way, oil. It's that one thing that everybody wants in the world, fertile women. And so it's just so good, and it tackles so many issues. It's kind of violent too, so just as FYI, but I just couldn't stop watching it.
yeah, blessed be the fruit, that's what
Blessed to be the fruit. Yeah,
that's what they say to each other.
y'all need to watch that. But that's something that I just finished that I was like super hooked on.
is that on Hulu,
Yeah,
right? Okay, just making sure. I'm
yeah.
writing.
It's freaking crazy. Like, the farther I got in, the more I was like, what the fuck? And the more I was like, oh my God, if our society doesn't start paying attention to politics and what's going on and who's making what decisions, this could be a future that's not too far off, of course, different elements, but like, it was just so interesting. So
And I
something.
love those stories that make you think, where like it's like, I don't know. That's what I love about, like, I think that's why I loved reading, because that's like one of the books that I read. But like TV shows too. It's like I like those shows that are not only like entertaining and like something you relax to, but also like, I don't know, it makes you reflect on things, make you want to do things different. And I think that's what good TV shows do,
Mhm.
or any like good work of like media.
Yeah. You know what other one on Netflix is so good, and that I have like really bad dreams about still? Not because it's like scary, but because all its episodes are different. I'm gonna get the name wrong. It's called Love, Sex, and Robots.
Ooh,
Have you all seen that?
no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Black Mirror because I heard that's another show. Like
Oh
Oh
yeah, Black Mirror.
yes, Black
that
Mirror.
one makes me like,
Oh. But Love, Sex, and Robot, it's on Netflix. It's not. I don't think the word sex is in there. It's Love, Something, and Robots. But it's basically, it's a whole season. Season 2 is about to come out, but they're little shorts. They're short videos, and they range from really funny ones to like ones that are, you're like, what the fuck just happened? But they're all cartoons. So they're all cartoons, and they're based in small ones. So like, there's like a little short of how a yogurt took over the world, like
Ooh.
yogurt. There's another one where it takes place and they're shorts and they take place in it just changes, right?
It's like a possibility, right? It shows like how that could technically really happen.
There's one where they travel so far into where they're in the future, and they're traveling through different universes through this portal, and it screws with me because this particular episode they go through a portal, but they put in the coordinates wrong, so they land in the middle of nowhere. But I don't want to ruin it, but basically they're already dead, and there's like it's just so good. It's just so good. So like totally watch it. What's it called, Lalo?
Love, Death, and Robots.
Love, Death, and Robots. I don't know why I added sex in there.
Wait,
Love,
what?
Death, and Robots.
Love,
Death, and Robots. Like, if you have literally 15 minutes, I watch them like in a certain order just because it makes sense to me. But literally just sit there, binge watch it. Super easy to go through. They're from 4 minutes to 30 minutes long. There's some about about women empowerment, where it takes place in the future where technology is such a thing. And it's about this girl who turns into a cat, but then eventually she can't do that. And so she's turned into a sex slave. But they're so obsessed with her that they take her body parts apart and they make her into a robot to have sex with her. And so it's just watch it. They're all different. You might relate to some of them, not others, but they're small shorts. Season 2 is about to come out. Sorry, I got like super excited.
Okay, that's fine.
No,
right?
the best TV shows make you like that.
And I still have nightmares about like a certain episode because I'm like, wow, that could actually happen. And so it's funny because I think about it a lot. And so I'm just waiting for season 2 to come out.
Definitely check it out.
And it's an easy one to just binge watch in like maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, get it out. I'm definitely interested. I love those like type of shows. I think I was like really addicted to Black Mirror for a while, and those shows I had to stop for a minute because I was like no, it was messing with my mind too much. I think another show. Sorry, my niece is in the background talking.
The tortoise.
Yeah, I don't know. I think another show that's great on Netflix. I feel like everyone knows it. Stranger Things. I love Stranger Things. I haven't actually watched the new season that came out like back in July, which I'm kind of sad about, but I haven't had the time to just sit down and watch it because when I really love a show, I really need to just sit down and pay attention to it, connect on stuff. But the first 2 seasons I was been watching like I think like during the summer, like, and I just got hooked on it, and it's so interesting and crazy, like just how like these young kids I get again like about the superpowers and stuff.
Yeah, I'm a huge like superpower nerd. I think one of the shows that I'm trying to watch, two shows. The first one, do you guys remember what's it called? Oh my god, it was a superhero movie that was way too early. Watchmen. I was like, it's way too early for its time. So Watchmen now has a show on HBO that I still haven't watched. So I only watched the first episode, but basically it tackles racism in America. And what basically happened, it starts off with all the cops were shot or murdered in the U.S. Like cops, like a group went and killed all these cops. So now cops, they don't show their identity and they show a mask. So you can get pulled over by a cop. But then you have this group that wants the America and the world to be a certain way. So they're the ones that are killing the cops. So I was like so hooked on episode 1 and it was free on HBO. And so I was like, why not? And then I got hooked and then I haven't been able to watch the rest of the season. And so I'm just like, I'm going to invest in it. But that's really cool. And then the other one that I started watching that I only watched the first seasons was DC's Teen Titans.
Ooh, I love Teen Titans. That's what I remember as a child.
So it's basically the kids show, animated show, and they made it into real people. I mean, like a lot of these shows are.
My favorite is Raven. Oh my god.
Raven?
So the first season tackles Raven. It's all about Raven.
Oh, dude, I have to on HBO.
No, it's on DC. So
DC.
if you go to the DC website, you have to pay for a subscription. But it's also the first season was pretty good. But they start introducing some of these other DC characters throughout it. So, anyways, I'm just talking a lot and nerding out. Yeah. See this weapon? Y'all let me do this.
No, I love superpowers and magic, all that too. That's why I'm obsessed with Harry Potter as well.
I love reading books too.
Huh?
That's why you love reading books too. Just the new like fantasy world.
Yeah, it makes me feel like it's like the fantasy world, and that's what I love about it. And yeah, I've watched, and so I just like recently rewatched
Oh, we
Sorry, I
lost
muted.
him.
On mute.
I know I muted myself. No, I've watched it so many times, and that's like what I remember as a child. And like this last time I rewatched it, I like watched it like in totally out of order, just based on like my favorite movies. And yeah, I just love the superpower aspect, and also like I think it has some good stories, but also I have some critiques about Harry Potter. As
Let's
much as I love it.
movies now, actually.
You know, it's funny when I was abroad, I actually took a Harry Potter tour. So
Oh
they
my god,
offer Harry Potter tours for like
where
it's in London, and
in London?
they do certain they take you place certain places where they've done a lot of the filming, and so you can take pictures and whatnot. And I
Mhm.
actually was studying abroad in Wales, and spoiler alert for Harry Potter if nobody has seen it. Do you know the scene where Dobby dies?
Yes,
So that scene, that ocean
so
scene, was like
it's a great day to be friend with friends that I love. That's what he says.
yeah, yeah. So that was like 2 stops away from where I was studying abroad, so I was able to visit it too. So it's just like a cute little ocean, a little house, but yeah. So I was able to do that. But I felt really bad because I'm like not a huge Harry Potter fan, so I felt really bad for those that are like, oh, this would be super cool, and I'm like, yeah, this is all right.
No, I'm like obsessed. Like I don't know. That's just one of the TV show or one of the movies that it feels like a classic to me. Like that's something like I could always watch. And yeah, but I feel like as I've grown up and as I've like watched it like 1,000 times, I've grown some critiques about it too. And I'm like, okay, this is a really great story, but um Harry Potter lacks in representation. It lacks in I don't know, in a lot of things that I don't necessarily agree with.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
like even that, like it tackles like the issue I think of like just of othering and how it's like the wizard people versus the muggles, and it really does talk about like discrimination and how people were called mug bloods, and like they were used like slurs to be against them. But yeah, but like one critique that I read online too is about like the lack of gay representation, and like J.K. Rowling has like came out and said that, oh no, there's gay characters in it, and they're like, oh, Dumbledore's gay. Like she just like casually tweeted that, and to me that says a lot to me, because it's like there's so many kids growing up, and like if I was growing up seeing this, like watching Harry Potter, and if I saw a gay character, like that probably totally would have changed what gay people, like how I perceive gay people or how other people perceive gay people. So I think her just like casually tweeting like, oh yeah, there's gay people in this movie, like just I don't know,
And you
like
don't
there's
even and
that
you don't even
upfront representation that like I want and that like people need.
and you don't even pick up on the fact that Dumbledore is gay until Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's like a passing comment that and it's always passing. And I think that's the problem. Like if there was like a gay character that was out and open, that could have been a lot of things for a lot of people reading Harry Potter, but it didn't do that. So I think it's kind of like unfair to just throw that in to try to be like inclusive when you're
and
not.
and as I've been like, during this quarantine, I've been keeping myself busy with so many things. But something that I was reading upon is that, there should be more representation all over these different shows and these different movies of not only a diverse characters, but also like who's telling the story, who's the
Yeah,
narrative, like who's the director. And it's been interesting to read that like there's a couple movies that are or a couple sequels that it's only male directors, when it's like there's no diversity within that either. So
yeah,
it's just an interesting thing where I'm starting to tackle now and trying to see like, okay, before I watch a movie, sometimes I just want to watch it because I want to watch it. Other times when I don't know the movie, I find out who the director is, who the plot line was written by, and so on. Because I think it allows me to know more about the movie and be more invested in it in so many
yeah.
ways.
Yeah, and I think it's like that says so much about like kind of the issue of like kind of I guess fake inclusivity, like where people say like, oh, we're diverse, like they throw diverse on the front page or something, just to have that and just to like say that you're doing it, but it doesn't come out in actions. And I think that says a lot more. It's like you can say you're diverse, you can say you're inclusive, but you're not if you're actually not doing it, if you're not having these gay characters, if you're not hiring black actors, and like uh, I don't know. I think it says a lot like about that.
Yeah. What about movies? What are you all watching right now? What movies are you guys watching?
I'm
I
not
really want to know.
like TV movies.
What do you watch?
Well, I've been watching. I love this movie. It has my favorite quote. It's called The Iron Giant. I think it's like one of those animated movies. I just love that movie so much. It's so
Iron Giant?
The
yeah.
Iron Giant. Yeah, do you not remember the Iron Giant?
I don't think I watched that.
Vin
Oh my
Diesel, like
god.
the voice of the robot. I found out. I was like, what? Like, I never knew that. But like, I don't know. I just been watching that like little movies because I have my niece and nephew around, so I've been watching those movies. But I love that movie because like I think the quote and the whole message of that movie is like, you can choose who you want to be and don't let other
Oh.
people label you and like. You know, because this whole movie, the whole time, the giant, like everyone's like, he's like a like not a disaster, like he's like bad, like he's a weapon and all this stuff, and like the kid that he befriends is like, no, you're not. Like, you are who you want to be. And in the movie, he's like, oh, he loves comic books, and he's like looking to Superman, and he's like, oh, I want to be like, he wants to be Superman, but everyone's telling him like, no, he's dangerous. He's a weapon. So like, it's just the whole movie talking about that, and like, I think it's really great because it's like talking about like again that labeling, like someone could like people could label you who you are, but at the end of the day, like you are who you choose to be. And it's so corny but cheesy, but I love that movie so much.
Oh my god, I just searched it up and I have like I feel like I remember it in like the depths of my memory.
That old
Like,
memory.
yeah, for else.
You know which one on just got uploaded to Disney Plus too? That is so good and I cried. Onward.
Is that the new
Um,
one that just came out or okay?
it is so
Oh,
good.
cool.
It is so freaking good, y'all.
So
Y'all are
much.
gonna be crying towards the end. Doesn't matter like who you are, like you're gonna be crying towards the end. Like it's funny because you know it was me, my partner, and my dog, and we're just sitting there crying at the end. And we're like, oh my god, we need to get
That's
over
cute.
this right now. But
That
it's such a cute, sweet movie. And it focuses. I think this is one of those movies that also tells a different type of story. It reminds me a little bit of like Coco with the grandma, right? Or like God, that movie with all the emotions. I forget what that one's called.
Oh,
I love that.
Oh yeah. So it's kind of like it's a Pixar movie, so it's really one of those movies. But it's so cute and it really catches. You start crying towards the end. Like if you haven't
oh.
watched it, sit down with your nieces, nephews. They will love it.
I think I'll put that on too.
I'm not gonna ruin it, but it's really good.
I think on top of that, Inside Out is definitely a movie I would recommend. I think it talks about how to express your emotions, stuff like that. The psychology part of me. I
No, yeah.
I remember taking my little brother to see it in theaters, and at first I didn't hear about it. I was like, I think like in high school, like 16 or 15. And I was like, I have to take him to go see this kid movie and all that stuff. And I was the one who ended up crying like twice throughout this movie because it pertains so much to life and like how you deal with your emotions and all that stuff. And I think it's a lot talking about like letting things go and like, I love it.
Yeah, I love those movies. I think Inside Out is one of those movies that I sat down with my younger siblings or my young nieces and nephews, and like it really started that conversation of them starting to better understand their emotions. And I was like, holy crap, this isn't just a movie. It's actually having little kids start to think or open that segue to allow ourselves to explain to younger kids like, hey, this is kind of how your emotions start working, kind of as an intro, so I just think it's so cute.
I know that's why I love kids movies because they really have a lot of so like good lessons. And
And I think like was that movie specifically, I think it's like talking about again like the kids like they're always being like you have to be happy, so like no excuses and stuff. And I feel like that movie showed like you can't have happiness without sadness, so
oh, that's
I'm trying
cute.
to open my Netflix right now to see what movies I've been watching.
yeah. I
What
think
about you, Lalo? What's your
Yeah, Lala, what you
top
been
movie?
watching?
I guess I haven't been watching a lot of movies, but my favorite movie has always been and like will always be The Lion King.
Oh
Uh,
my god.
they just put bad like they've been having Bad Boys on Netflix for a little while, so I like watching that, like the first one and the second one, and then the first couple Fast and Furious movies. I like watching those, but it gets dangerous because like I watch them and then I get on my motorcycle and I think I could like do whatever I
Oh my
want.
god, you think you're
Dude.
serious?
Well, Lalo's no longer allowed to watch those movies.
Oh my god, and I love Lion King. My niece, she wanted to watch Lion King last night for the 10th time, and I told her no.
Oh,
But like, what, Brianna? I don't know, say what you can say. You go.
Oh, I was gonna say there's another movie that's out. It's on. I think it was if you go on the DU, like if you have like Xfinity account, it's called On the Basis of Sex, and it's about Ruth Ginsburg's Supreme Court case that she took on as a lawyer, and it's literally she was fighting for like sex discrimination because the case is basically this father wanted to, I think he wanted to have parental custody, like primary parental custody of like his kid, and the court was like, no, like you can't do that because of, again, back then gender roles and all that stuff, and they're like, no, and she fought on that. And kind of, I guess in the law you learn a lot that wording's very, very important. So it's like fighting that, and it's so crazy because it tells a story how she, she went in like to her. I think it was Harvard. I think she went to Harvard, but she went to the law school and she was just talking about like how they looked at her like, why are you here? And like literally her professor would call out like, so what do you think since you took a spot of a man who should be in your seat and stuff? And I was just like, what? Like that bold back then. And like it's a great movie. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's super great. I think it's really like it's very eye-opening to see like even though like right now like again that stuff still happens, but like I never have to sit in class and have my teacher call me out like being like, oh, you're sitting in a man seat, like specifically like a white man seat. And like I think it's so crazy how she got called out on that, and like they were just like, so why aren't you learning how to cook for your husband and stuff like that? And like,
oh my god,
I love movies with like strong female leads. Like that's one thing my dad I was really shook that he like picked up on this about me, because it's not even something that I really noticed, but he's like, you always watch movies like with women as like the main character, which I love, and I love movies that bring up conversations like that. So
I think that one's a really good one, yeah, for anyone who wants to see that, especially anyone who's into law. But I'm not that like caught up in law, so when they were talking about terms and stuff, I was like,
you're all taking notes.
oh, sorry.
yeah, right. She's like,
She's all
I know some of you mentioned like that you like superheroes and things like that. So the one I'd recommend is Code 8 on Netflix. Code 8. So it's basically about it reminds me a little bit of X-Men, but it's basically in the future that humans start developing superpowers, but they're asking them to register themselves. And it's about this guy who's pretty much poor, and so he does these like construction jobs, but he has a superpower, so he can do it pretty easily. Yeah. But that's as much as I'm going to tell you. I don't want to ruin everything else. So it's actually really good. It's
superpower would be like to control like water.
Have you seen this? It's called Underground 6.
Oh, dude,
that's a really good movie.
That was gonna be my next one to watch. I haven't watched it. Is it good?
Yeah, I really liked it. Like at the beginning, something crazy happens, and it's like, damn, like right at the beginning, like at 600 starting the movie, like something big at you, and then there's like after that, it gets really good too. It's just a good ass movie to watch. It's all about action and stuff, but like they throw like some emotion in there. It's really good.
Ooh, I love that.
I think another good movie that I've always loved watching, and I love try showing my friends. I think I tried showing you, Nikki, but we passed out.
What movie?
It's called A Little Bit of Heaven. I love.
I think. Did we watch it?
We didn't finish it, but I was trying to show you. But you got to give it a couple minutes, like literally 10 minutes in, and you'll be hooked. But in the beginning, it's kind of slow, but it's like about this like. It's literally about grieving and like dealing with death and stuff. Like this like happy woman, like she's so happy, she has a job, she has a career, she's like just like, yeah, she don't have kids or anything like that, but she's just like living with her friends and all that stuff. And then she finds out like she has like a illness, like, or like she gets a disease, and basically it's like a rom-com in a way, but like it's so cute because like you find out like she's the one that's like, no, I don't want to fall in love, I'm over it. No, or not over it, but she's like, no, I'm just having life, like I'm having fun living my life, like, and that's great. But then like she meets her doctor and she it's so funny because it's not like that cheesy rom-com, but like she quickly likes him, but like
oh wait, what is that called? I did see that.
He did. It's a little bit heavy. It's just that actor that you were telling me about.
And he did like some. I remember like a scene where he was like in a parking lot and she like pulls up on him or something.
Yeah.
Is that it?
But I love it. It's a movie, and then it's like based in New Orleans, so that's cool too because they show like a lot of like jazz scenes or play music stuff like that. But it's really great because like again, she's processing like how to deal with like grieving and death and like what's gonna happen if she lives or if she dies and like I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it's definitely a cool movie. You should check it out. And then there's that one part. There's like you'll find out why they call the movie A Little Bit of Heaven. It's so funny why, but.
I love superhero movies, and I am like unapologetic. I love romantic movies, and I love love stories, and I like those are. I could always watch those. I think it was 2 nights ago. I watched it before, but I watched Perks of Being a Wallflower, and oh my god, it's like I love that movie. It's like the perfect mix of like a growing up story and then like a mixing like with the romance and there's queer characters, so we love that. And I don't know, it makes you feel good. And my favorite quote from that is that like they were it's like such a high school feeling that it's like a feeling you get when you watch the movie, which I love. But they were like going through a tunnel, and they were driving, and he like gets up and he like goes like that and puts his arms out, and then he goes, I feel infinite. And I don't know, I just love those type of movies.
You remember when you called me and I was like, I'm watching this movie, I'm crying.
Yeah.
What was it called again, Brianna?
Which one?
The movie that you said you were crying, the one that you were just talking about too?
It's called A Little Bit of Heaven. It's on YouTube. It's for free. It's awful. What's up?
Talking about heaven, you know what you all need to watch? Maybe somebody The Good Place.
Ooh.
That's a good series.
Good fucking series. It's basically the concept of when you die, you go to heaven, right? Well, it's basically a twist on that. And so if I even tell you a little bit, I'm going to spoil the whole thing. So I just say, even Lalo says it's an amazing show. The fourth season and the final season is about to come out, but it's called The Good Place. But it's basically the concept of heaven. Really funny, very diverse characters as well. So like, check it out.
I'll put down my list on Netflix.
It's like really good. They're 30 minutes. I literally got Linda hooked on it, and now her and all her kids watch it.
The Good Place. Ooh.
The Good Place, yeah. Literally, just give it like 2 episodes. You'll be so hooked on it. It's gonna be ridiculous. We're waiting for season 4 to come out on Netflix.
When did that come out?
I don't know when it's coming out on Netflix. It just got done on TV. But those are my recommendations, and maybe the last recommendation I would have is probably Lucifer. So it's funny because Lucifer, have you guys heard of DC Legends of Tomorrow? It's like a superhero show. Well, I'm surprised Nikki hasn't, but basically it's the concept of like all these superheroes time traveling and fixing things throughout their past and future. But it's funny because they just did an episode where it was like a series where they had like the Green Arrow, Flash. It was like they come together for like a series, and they included Lucifer in it. They included so many. They actually included the actual Flash from the actual movies. I forget his name, but they included him in that long thing. But it has like Supergirl and all these things. But they included Lucifer in it, and so I was watching it and I was like flipping out because I know Lucifer.
Yeah.
But anyway, super side story.
I've never seen Lucifer, but I kind of want to watch it.
I heard about it. It's really
it's good because it doesn't say this outright, but it kind of implies that the devil doesn't really care about gender or sexuality. And Lucifer doesn't identify as straight, to be honest with you. So it's just like it's really interesting.
And he's cute, so that makes me want to watch it.
So I would definitely watch it. It's really good. You'll get hooked on it, and it's funny because it got canceled, and Netflix picked it up, and they picked it up for a season, and they just renewed it for another season.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's that good.
Check it out. I know a lot of people have been telling me to check it out, especially because like he has a therapist, so they're like,
oh, his therapist is so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of it. I think I know what happened with his therapist.
Another movie that I want to say I've been watching it since I was little. Like my family watches it. It's called Mi Familia or My Family. It's not on Netflix, but I think you could watch it on like YouTube or something like that. But
wait, isn't that show that got canceled and got brought back?
Mi Familia? I don't know if it's a show, but this is a movie like back in the
Oh, okay.
It's really great. It's about a story of a Latinx family. The dad tells a story of how like he came to California, and they even talk about before California was like Mexico, and then they talk about how that transition from it being from Mexico to California, and then just talk about like his family there and growing up. He has 5 kids, and one is like it's such a funny movie, but it's also really great, especially like very like it's being more culturally aware and like learning about that. And I love this movie because like they have like he ends up having 5 kids. It talks about like how he met his wife and everything like that, but he has like 5 kids. One's like a cholo, one's like becomes a lawyer, and then like one's getting married, one becomes a nun, and like it's so crazy because it shows them like from when they're kids all the way up to like the old like the youngest son being like old and like just like their life stories and stuff, and it's so great. Like I love it. It talks a lot about those type of issues. What's it called? Um, Sorry, I'm blanking out. My dog's like chasing his tail over there.
Uh,
But it's really great. I love it. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but like it's like based on like I think back in like it starts from again I think the 1920s all the way up to like probably the 50s or 60s and stuff like that. But it's really great. I think it's so funny because there's like this one scene where the son that became a lawyer, he ends up changing like basically like his name because his name was Guillermo or Memo, and then he likes to be called I think Will instead like visits his family
I feel like I saw. I don't know.
and like he brings over his new wife and his wife happens to be white, and then like the parents are like being like trying to like impress her and stuff like that, and like they're like trying to tell these funny stories, and like he's like no mom I never did that what, and like he was like and I think it's just talking about like he was trying to like hide like his culture and stuff like that, and like I don't know, it's so funny because there's this one part where like the other son's kid comes in with a bunch of other kids and they start like going crazy, like pointing at like the wife and like her family, and like it's just a crazy thing like where they're just like not embarrassing him, but like he's like so mad, and like it's funny. It's a funny scene.
that's awesome. And I think for me too, I would have to say the Umbrella Academy if you guys haven't watched it.
Oh, I did. I love that.
Because season 2 is about to come out here pretty soon.
Oh, really? I haven't seen season 2.
No, I remember someone talking to me about that
What?
show.
Girl, you're like a year behind. Go watch that.
Yeah, it's such a good show. I watched it, and it's like really short, isn't it? It's like
It's only like 8 episodes, I think.
yeah, or Sense8. Have you ever watched that?
Oh my god, I rioted when they canceled it. I thought
I
it was
know,
so
but then they put
good.
like the movie or like a longer episode or whatever. But oh, that was such a good show.
I would have still watched it if they would have
No, I would
continued.
still watch it now too.
Ugh.
I don't know. Should we talk about music recommendations, like artists, songs, and stuff, or should we?
I mean, what songs are you guys listening to right now?
Um, I feel like I listen to so much music, but like one thing is so like if you like EDM or like music like that, like because of like what's going on with like coronavirus, like so many shows got canceled, so a lot of artists are going to YouTube and other like streaming um platforms, and they're like having live shows, which I think is really cool. So like one that I watch is like it's called Digital Mirage, and so like the artists, they literally stream live as like a substitute for shows. And what I think is cool is that like people are really finding community through music during this time, and that's like one avenue that they're doing that, like through YouTube, and they're connecting and they're still being together, just not in the way that they would have been.
I like
I really like that. I think it's been really interesting how some of these artists have been having like exactly like you're saying, like they're all small little concerts and really trying to build a lot of community around this.
Yeah.
I'm like low-key super excited to see what albums are gonna come after the quarantine. Because I'm like, if you're stuck at home, you're like you're being
I
forced
love
to work on music.
I love music. I could talk about it, but I have different like genres I'm into and all that stuff. I think going off of like artists who have been trying to help with everything going on. One of my favorite bands is 21 Pilots. I love them so much. I've seen them 3 times in concert. They actually released a new song and they're donating a lot of the profit to those who used to work in like I forgot to like tech crew, like who will help set up like the concerts, stuff like that. Like, and they're selling like merch for it too, because they're like, we understand that you are out of your jobs, you know, and like donate a lot of that portion. So this song alone, like it's called like Level of Concern. It's about everything that's going on too, and it's like really funky and it's cool.
What's it called?
Level of Concern. It's really cool, like, and like he's literally talking about like panic, like it's just talking about everything that's going on, but it's really great. Like like all like the money that comes from the streams and stuff like that goes to those who worked, like, you know, as tech crew and stuff. I think that's so cool. Like, you know, again, like they know, they understand, like, you know, they can't do that, set up their concerts alone. They can't, you know, the music industry, like everyone needs like a tech crew and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. Another, I love artists. I love SZA. If anyone has ever heard of her, she sings like that song "The Weekend" where she's like, "My man is your man is that." I don't know if you.
Yeah,
but,
side chick.
I love her album called "Control." It's really beautiful. It's just like, it's a great story. We actually listen to all the songs in order. She's very rap, but also R&B, and like very like chill. Like I love her voice too. Or she did a song with Travis Scott too that was on the radios a lot. Let me see if I can.
What's her name?
SZA, so it's SZA. She's done this one, like the love with Travis Scott. Hold on. She said that one. It's very like I love her voice, and I think was that too. I think Frank Ocean. I love Frank Ocean.
I know Frank Ocean is probably my favorite artist ever.
Yeah,
Right now I'm like super into, so I've been like running as much as I can because of the gym's closed, but like I've been listening to music that has like a nice little beat to it. So it's not even like I don't think I'm even listening to any particular artist. I think I'm really super into EDM for some reason, and I normally don't listen to EDM, but it's like it's my groove to like.
No, EDM is. I love running to it too. Like it's just like I just like go to the beat.
Exactly. But I have to log off for another meeting. If you guys want to continue on, please let me know. I love you guys. I'm so excited to meet you guys. You guys are amazing. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Let me go on very quick. I think another artist I think that I really got into this year specifically is Mac Miller's Swimming album.
Oh, yes.
I love that album. Unfortunately, like it sucks because I know unfortunately that was like his last album before he you know passed away, unfortunately. But I really love that album. I think again it's like so like that jazz and R&B and like that rap in it, because it's not just like straight up like rap, like it just includes so many elements, and like I just love how I could like dance to it and stuff like that. Like there's one song specifically, let me see, sorry, let me see, this one, I don't know why, but like I just want to like, hold on. I don't know, it's just like,
wait, who's this?
It's Mac Miller. It's called What's Mac Miller. So that's my like from the Swimming album. Like
I love circles.
It's like, okay, let me stop before this gets copyrighted or something. But
one thing, like if you have Spotify, you can go to like stats for Spotify, like online, and it like says like it's really cool. It like gives you all like like all your information like based off of like what you listen on Spotify, and it gives you like your top tracks for the last 4 weeks, the last 6 months, and like of all time, and it's just really interesting.
Oh, I think I could just do that at the top of my head.
Oh my God. Yeah, so like my top track of all time, number 2 is Nights by Frank Ocean.
Oh shit, I feel like it's painted.
For number 1, I got One Night Only by Sonder. I don't know if you listen to it.
No.
But yeah.
Can you play it?
Huh?
I was gonna say, I think another let me see what albums I'm into so much new music. I've been exploring a lot musically lately. I like, again, I love like Lana Del Rey. I could switch to like Lana Del Rey to like Kendrick Lamar. Like, I love that. I love his album Down.
Have you heard of the slide challenge, the Tuesday slide challenge?
No.
Yeah,
with Drake, right? Yeah.
Drake. I saw like a video of somebody doing it, and I like downloaded the song because it was just cool.
We should probably.
And just,
What's up?
Some people were saying like it's just the moonwalk. It's not like the actual. Like,
yeah, I feel like it's just something simple, but it has a good beat. Watch, I'll play it.
I could get you done. That foot slide, that foot up, right foot slide. Basically, I'm saying either way, we about to slide. Can't let this.
Yeah, I just like the beat to it more.
Okay.
I'm all left foot up.
I love Prince lately. I've been hearing a lot of Prince's
Oh, I
music.
love Prince.
I know the song specifically that I've been into is 1999. I love that song.
Ooh, I love Raspberry Beret.
That one's so good too. I'm just like all over the place with music. I can recommend so much. It just really depends on like your mood and like what you're feeling. I feel. Definitely. I think everyone should check out Frank Ocean. I can't even get enough of him. I don't know and then another artist I think is Kuko. Very great to listen to. His music is like psychedelic, and like it's like very lovey-dovey, but also really like um he influences a lot of his like Latinx culture in there too and stuff like
Ooh,
that.
I
Like
love that.
he'll sing like in Spanglish, like like he'll sing in English but sing in Spanish, and like I just love that. I think another one, Bad Bunny. I've been getting into.
Oh, Bad Bunny. I love Bad Bunny.
I did not at first. I did not want to join. Like I was like, no, I'm not gonna be like a bandwagon. I'm not gonna join the hype. But then I listened to it and I was like, I actually like it. Like I'm ready for the club after that. Like that's my mood. See, it just really depends on your mood, like who you want to listen to.
Yeah.
I think Tyler the Creator is a big one for me too. I really loved both his albums, Flower Boy and Igor. If y'all ever want to listen to that.
Have you heard J Balvin's album Colores?
No, not yet.
I love J Balvin.
That's pretty good.
I'm starting to get into those, like, like reggaeton and all that stuff. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here because I don't want this video being too long, but do y'all have anything last comments to say? No? Okay.
No, I just think keep watching movies and TV shows, listen to music, whatever you do to get you through this time. I think like media is so much more important now than ever. And yeah.
Again, let us know if y'all ever need anything. We are always here. But thank you for joining us. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording here right now. But take care, everyone. Bye. See you next week.